What's going on, everybody? It's me, Brandon, back again with another episode, and today we are talking about Silent Hill 2 Remake. About a year and a half ago, a little bit more, I played Silent Hill 2, the original game, the original Xbox version, which was called Restless Dreams Edition. It was the Xbox variant, so I simply just played it on the Xbox. Same story as the PlayStation 2, but this was the only copy that I could really get my hands on that was affordable. And wow, finally, after playing that game, it has become one of those games that just sits right in the back of my mind. I love Silent Hill 2. I think it is a really deep, disturbing game, but it is truly one of the greatest horror video game experiences I've ever played. I think it has one of the best video game soundtracks that I've ever heard, and I think the whole package of what Silent Hill 2 is just this monumental task that I feel like was way ahead of its time, and me playing it in 2024, something like that, like I said, a year and a half, a little bit more ago, I finally did it. I made a whole video on it. You can go ahead and check that out. This is basically a sequel video talking about the remake and my experience with that game. So finally, I played the remake of Silent Hill 2, and I have a lot of things to talk about. Again, just like the original game, this game has sat in my mind. It's been about a couple weeks now since I finished this game, and I've been working on this video, but I truly don't know what it is about the story, this narrative, the characters, the music. Silent Hill 2 is something really special, and the remake does exactly that, but more. Let's go ahead and talk about Silent Hill 2 Remake. After a year and a half since completing the original Silent Hill 2, I heard that town calling me yet again, and in doing so, I finally played the remake developed by Bloober Team in 2024. Silent Hill 2 was originally one of the very few games I couldn't sink my teeth into, not because I didn't want to play it, but simply because of how strong the oppressive atmosphere and dread were. Throughout the original game, I constantly felt a sense of dread from the ghastly imagery of an unthinkable hell and the unfortunate people who inhabit the town. Now, with this remake finally finished, I have a lot to say about it. I truly think this is a new benchmark for what a remake can be. Silent Hill 2 Remake was released in the fall of 2024. I wanted to make sure I had completed the original before playing the remake. This is something I naturally like to do with remade titles if I've played the original, so I can properly compare and contrast while playing the remake and see how it holds up. Playing the original Silent Hill 2 was a daunting task. I remembered the overwhelming sense of dread and even debated starting it again at first. It wasn't going to be my first Silent Hill game, but my history with it had been bumpy. I appreciated it from afar, but with every time I tried to play it, I found myself deeply disturbed by its uncanny visuals and oppressive tone. Finally, after acquiring another copy of Silent Hill 2 for the original Xbox, the Restless Dreams Edition, I dove headfirst into that game. The game sets itself up strongly with James standing in the bathroom staring at himself in the mirror, and from there the story unfolds. After finishing the original, I became a huge fan of how direct the game was with its players. I understood why it has been beloved by so many, tackling challenging themes across the board. James Sunderland pursuing his wife Mary, who died 3 years ago, is the focus of the story. Along his descent, he encounters other unfortunate characters, Laura, Eddie, Angela, and Maria, each trapped in their own warped realities within Silent Hill. Starting up the remake, we're greeted with that same iconic intro, now given an incredible coat of paint and graphical fidelity that feels truly unreal. The remake stunned me multiple times throughout my playthrough with its jaw-dropping visuals. Silent Hill feels fully realized to its maximum potential here. Anything less would be an understatement. Upon leaving the bathroom, we're introduced to a brand new perspective, an over-the-shoulder camera that adds a heavy dose of immersion. In my original Silent Hill 2 video, I mentioned that the game felt like a story-driven puzzle experience first, with everything else coming second. For me, the goal of the original was to experience the story and complete it. And I did. However, with the new coat of paint and gameplay style leaning more towards a modern third-person perspective, the new game never turns into a full-blown action experience like Resident Evil. Instead, the new camera angle enhances the immersion rather than replacing the tension created by the old fixed camera angles and tank controls. The remake breaks through the barrier of the original by choosing this new direction, and I believe it succeeds tremendously. It had me gripping my controller during tense moments, bracing myself before stepping into the next location. My first playthrough of Silent Hill 2 Remake lasted about 11 hours. I believe the original took roughly half that time, where the remake truly stands tall in its faithful recreation of locations while expanding the town with new areas to explore. I was hooked almost immediately by this remake. That said, there were moments where certain locations felt slightly drawn out compared to the original game. In the original game, I never felt like I overstayed my welcome in any area. In the remake, some sections linger longer. However, I think that added length reinforces the dread and baked-in tension of James being trapped in these spaces. Yes, the later locations are longer, but the surreal unease I felt in those areas were so effective. I desperately wanted to move on, yet moving from one horrific place to another only deepened the sense of hopelessness. Upon reaching the final stretch, the oppressive nature of the previous areas made the brief transition feel almost peaceful, but the final area is still a trial for James. This is where everything comes to a head. The remake's presentation is phenomenal. Somehow, Bloober Team found a way to modernize the iconic cast and designs while grounding them visually in a new way. I still love the original and believe its early 2000s CGI cutscenes add an uncanny, dreamlike quality that is deeply unsettling. There's something about that era's presentation that makes it feel so otherworldly. One feature I loved in the remake was the glimpse of the past. These are directly explained but serve as a subtle nod to moments from the original game that are no longer present. I found them incredibly effective. For example, early in the game, I came across the familiar alleyway where James originally acquires the wooden plank and radio and encounters his first mannequin. As I approached the area, my screen crackled with digital static and a sound cue played as I stared down the alley and realized things may not be as familiar as I had thought. What truly impressed me was the clever use of déjà vu. I would walk to familiar locations expecting something to happen, only to be reminded of a memory that may or may not have occurred. These small beats were powerful. I was already uncomfortable in the hotel, and finding a glimpse of the past there, one that didn't align with our current events, made it feel like a distant and fractured memory. In closing, Silent Hill 2 Remake crosses the barrier of what a remake should be. It expands upon the original concept and transforms it into a fully realized new vision. Whether discussing the new camera perspective, graphics, or the retelling of the classic story, the remake succeeds in nearly every way. There are only a few remakes that truly go above and beyond the standard remake conversation. In my opinion, Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Final Fantasy VII Remake are prime examples, projects that ascend beyond simple remasters and fully reimagine legendary experiences in a brand new way. Silent Hill 2 Remake stands alongside them now. In my 11-hour playthrough, I had a better time playing it than I did with the original game. While still experiencing all the same core story beats, the new perspective felt immersive and satisfying satisfying in a way that really surprised me. The original remains a masterclass in atmosphere and storytelling, and for 2001, it was far ahead of its time. The fixed camera angles and gameplay style enhanced that unease perfectly, but with the remake, new ideas are attempted. The new perspective was clearly designed for a modern audience, and in my opinion, they absolutely nailed it. Silent Hill 2 Remake cements itself as one of the great video game remakes. Silent Hill 2 is a game simply that I just cannot stop thinking about. I listen to the music often, I think about the plot often, I think about the journey you go through as James Sunderland often. I think Silent Hill 2 is something truly special and very unique. I recommend that if you want to play Silent Hill 2, you can go ahead and dive right in with the remake. You will have a great time in the worst way. Silent Hill 2, I still recommend the original. I think that game, as I said in the video, is a clear-cut, straight-to-the-point story where I actually think with time, Silent Hill 2 adds a lot of unease, even more so because of its uncanny visuals. I think that is something really special with the original game, and I think that does get slightly lost in the remake. However, the remake has some incredible acting, incredible graphics, and you really get drawn into the character stories. I love Silent Hill 2, and it's a game that I will probably play ever so often, every who knows amount of years, because it is a story that's just really fascinating, and the original game deeply disturbed me. But over time, I just start to get really entranced by what the game is and the deep layers of everything that happens in Silent Hill 2. It is a really good game. It's a great video game, but just in general, it's an awesome story, and I think the tragedy of what it is really fascinating to me. Silent Hill 2 just feels like it's a very unique experience, and I'm really excited to see what Bloober Team does when they remake Silent Hill 1. I'm very excited to play that, and hopefully they do a remake of Silent Hill 3 as well. But that is the end of this episode today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think about Silent Hill 2. So please let me know in the comments down below if you played Silent Hill 2 or the remake. If you played the remake, please let me know what you thought about this game. Did you like the glimpses of the past? Did you like the take that they did for Silent Hill 2 Remake? What version do you prefer? Please let me know in the comments down below. As always, my name is Brandon, and I will see you all next time.